Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday, the 18th of October 2025. You are watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. My name is Graham Hughes. I hope you're having a half-decent morning. It's quite gloomy and overcast here in Durham this morning. But, I was up early and I thought, sod it, I'll do a show for you, for Richard and for Elle and for Paula and for Martin, who's very confused, and Calafray and Ren, and for Ice Boo, and for Daylight M, Jenny, Saz, Black Dot, Sid, Francis Winrow. Hello, and welcome to this special Saturday edition of Morning Brew. Something that maybe I'll just keep doing this. It depends. Maybe I'll just do it once every 2 weeks. I don't know. But just circumstances allowed this morning for a brew, and I thought I'll make myself a brew and then I'll start the show. But I just realised that I made me brew a long time ago and it's nearly finished. So I don't know if we're going to last the whole hour. Who have we got in the chat as well? We got Willed Apper in the chat as well. And we got Starries as well. We got Viper Scott, old Alistair there. And we got Sid. Hello, Sid. So if you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, wait for approximately 60 seconds, and then you should be able to join the chat. Just don't be a troll. That's the rule. It's a simple rule. Like, be respectful. Don't be a dick. Like, that used to be like a rule that was sort of given to kids, like when they were kids, like they were taught manners and politeness, and they're not anymore. They still seem to be taught deference. They still seem to be taught that you have to bow your head, tug your forelock, doff your cap when a rich person goes by in their Maserati. But, like just being civil to people of your own class. Oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. These people who want to help, these people who want to make the society they live in better, the people who want to make the air cleaner, the people who want to get the poison out of the rivers and the streams and our water, the people who want to get the plastics out of our oceans, they're the bad guys, really, if you think about it. And must be treated with disrespect. Anyway, talking of deference, we're going to be talking today about, obviously, Prince Andrew giving up his title as the Grand Old Duke of York. Not particularly grand, old, though, I guess. But why now? That's the question we want to be asking this morning. Why now? What has shifted? What has changed? What has become of the brokenhearted? So we'll be saying now, like he wasn't stripped of his titles. He gave them up, apparently. He should have been. There should have been a ceremony. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you get knighted, you got to kneel before the Queen or the King now, right? And they do the thing with the sword on either side of your head. And they say, "Arise, gobshite," right? Let's have something like that where they get stripped of the title. Like maybe they get like their badges, their little fucking things that they wear, the little medals, the little coins that they wear on, for turning up to an event. For actually taking part in a battle, you just get like a little tour ribbon. You just get like a little tiny half an inch of ribbon on your jacket, right? But if you've been to like a party held by the Queen, right, you get like a big fucking medallion thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you get like something huge, and it's like, so what battle did you fight in to get that, lads? It's like, I just turned up to the Queen's birthday party once. Oh, that's fucking amazing. The Jubilee medal or something, or the she went out on a horse medal. You were there. It's like a ticket stub. It's like wearing a ticket stub for Radiohead at the Empress Ballroom on the 7th of September, 1997. I was there, baby. Oh, yeah, I was at that thing. Look, I've got a huge fucking medal to say I was definitely at that thing. I was definitely in attendance. Anyway, you'd have like ripping his medals off him, right? I can imagine it like top of the stairs, and you've got like the throne of, with all the swords in it at the top of the stairs, right? And the king like grabs these things, and they're all held on by Velcro, make it easy because he's got big sausage fingers, and he just like rips them off, and then he just like you have your ceremonial booting down the stairs. Just like kicks him, and he's like rolls down the stairs bit by bit. Oh god, that'd be hilarious. And then he's like a crumpled heap at the bottom, going, "Why? Because fuck you. That's why," says the king to the diminished soul beneath his altar, his throne. But yeah, so Andrew has relinquished the Duke of York title. First person to reduke a dukedom since World War One, when someone who was a British duke decides to fight on the side of the Germans. Good reason as any to force someone to give up a title like that. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the first super chat of a Saturday morning brew. That's quite impressive. I think this is our first. Have we ever done one of these before? We've done Sunday morning brews, but not a Saturday morning, so this is quite exciting. He had to resign or be a sacked chat with HM. He had a resign or be a sacked chat with HM. Well, I mean, I think that it was HR rather than HM. Sorry. But yes, I see what you mean. Like, I think that he had to say he resigned, but, he was sacked. Anyway, so he's not the king of... Not so the king. Oh, God. Imagine that. He's still 8th in line to the throne, Anyway, he's had to give up the Duke of York title. He's had to give up the Knight of the Garter. Sounds a bit kinky, that, doesn't it? Ooh, missus. I'm the Knight of the Garter. And then we've got the Earl of Inverness. I didn't even know he was the Earl of Inverness. I don't think the people who lived in Inverness knew he was the Earl of Inverness. And the Baron Killylee titles. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, my Scottish friends. If I assume that's Killylee. I'm sure I might be Scottish. It might be Irish. I don't know. It's got kill in it. Kilkenny. That's not an instruction. It's a place. But yeah. Still, Prince Andrew, though, royal by blood of my blood, seed of my seed. No, that's wrong. But yes, from the cousins who were his mum and dad, the Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, cousins. Anyway, so he keeps the Royal Lodge for some reason. It's just 80 fucking rooms in the Royal Lodge or something. He's got this huge mansion, so he's not doing too badly. He's still got a life lease and he still gets security perks. Unlike Prince Harry, who had the misfortunate thing of falling in love with the wrong woman. How fucking dare he, hey? Hey, how dare he do that? It's not like his dad did that. Oh, hang on. Oh. Yeah, because he fell in love with the woman who wasn't his wife. Oh. Ooh, yeah. Maybe he should have his security detail taken away from him. His daughters, the daughters of the disgraced Prince Andrew, Sweaty Nonce Andrew. His daughters retain the princess titles, the silver princess. But he's avoided parliamentary stripping. So that the Parliament could have stripped him of these titles. Apparently, Parliament has the power to do that by voluntarily stepping back. But the translation of that is he jumped before he was pushed. So why now? This is the question I want to get into, and I want you to tell me what you think. Flavor Flav means I was supinated. Absolutely, mate. That means the hall would have to be at the top of the palace with a very long staircase. Lol. Come on, it'd be hilarious. It'd be like John Wick, right? So basically. And in the last John Wick movie, sorry if these are like slight spoilers for you, but he's got to walk up this staircase in Paris, and it's really hard to get up the staircase. He keeps getting knocked back down by people who are like, ninja assassins who are trying to take him out, and he keeps falling back down to the bottom, and then he gets up again, and he starts climbing up to the top, and then he gets knocked down to the bottom, and he's like, that's what it should be like to get to the top of the staircase to the throne. And then finally, when you get to the top of the staircase, medal stripped off you, you kick down the stairs. Booted down the stairs. So why now? So massive pressure from the US Oversight Committee digging into Epstein's network and obviously going through some of his paperwork. Fresh Epstein documents linking Andrew to massages on the Lolita Express, which was the plane that Trump used to get around when he was campaigning to become president for the second time. Well, no, second time. I suppose he was campaigning for the third time. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir is being released next week. A leaked email proof shows that he stayed in contact with Epstein well beyond 2010, as after Epstein had already been to jail for being a massive nonce. Royal insiders fear state visits to the Vatican would be overshadowed, and Palace terrified of global embarrassment. This sort of PR disaster that's just been simmering away in the background. So the BBC released an email recently showing Andrew still linked with Epstein after ending his friendship, as he claimed in the 2019 "I Don't Sweat" Pizza Express in Woking Newsnight interview. The Palace sources claim the fault lines in Andrew's stories are now like undeniable. Like, he is just clearly making it up, and he's lost track of the lies. That's why you always catch out a liar, because they can't keep track. It's a lot easier to keep track of things that actually fucking happened. It's one of those things that, like, how do you spot a liar? And there's no, clear and fast way of doing this. Obviously, if someone's a sociopath or a psychopath, they're very good at lying, and they're very good at conning lie detector tests, which, lie detector tests are absolute bullshit. You may as well read tea leaves. If someone they're asked if they had sex with some person that they fancy, and they are shocked at the question, but they're also a little bit embarrassed about the fact that, yeah, they would probably like to have sex with that person if that person wants to have sex with them and they weren't already in a relationship. And it makes people's heart race faster. It makes their pupils dilate and all this other bullshit. But they haven't actually done anything. It's just that they've had thoughts about it. And you can't really, with a lie detector test, tell the difference between a lie or something that you've thought of, like a physical thing that you've done. So, like, I physically slept with this person, compared with thinking about physically sleeping with that person. The same sort of reaction would be triggered in most normal people who aren't sociopaths and psychopaths. But one of the things with liars, with pathological liars, is they lose track of the lies. They forget the lies they've told different people because they've had to make stuff up on the spot. And some people are just really, really shit at that. They're really shit at maintaining the lie. And Prince Andrew is obviously one of these people who's not very good. He's not very bright. He's not very accomplished at maintaining the lie. And he can't brazen it through because he's got no personality. If he was Boris Johnson, if he was Donald Trump, if he was Nigel Farage, for a lot of people, they'll be able to brazen through all this. He'd be like, of course I was friends with Epstein. I mean, everyone was friends with Epstein. Who wasn't? Which is basically what Trump says. Anything that you can accuse Prince Andrew of, Trump is just as guilty. Trump has done all this. He's flown in the Lolita Express. He stayed on Epstein Island. We know that he had a good relationship with Epstein, hung out with him loads. And the fallout was over the fact that Epstein pinched some possibly underage masseurs who were working in Mar-a-Lago, and he wanted them working on his lordly estate instead. I can't be asked to lie. The truth hurts, says Elle. Well, I mean, you got to, come on, we all lie. We all tell little porkies every day just to keep the social fucking fabric alive. Like, if someone asks you a question and it's a loaded question, and if you gave them a blunt answer, it would break their heart, or it would destroy them, or it would just give them a bad day. Of course you're going to lie. Of course you're going to lie. Although, I never understood the one about, does me bum look big in this? Like, why would you not want your bum to look big? Like, that just makes no sense to me. Like, no one ever says to me, tits look big in this. Should I wear something else? I'm like, no. It's just like, why would you even think that was a problem? Does my dick look big in this? I'm just wearing these trousers like Errol fucking Flynn. Does my dick look big? I can't go out if my dick looks absolutely massive. I mean, I might scare the pigeons. So anyway, but yeah, there's the little lies that we tell each other, And it's not harmful. I think it's more harmful if you're sort of brutally honest and you're kind of horrible about it, I guess. I do like honesty though. I mean, at the same time, God, my ex-girlfriend, my Australian girlfriend, she was very fucking straight with me. And I kind of needed that at the time. Possibly still do. She'd be like, Ryan, you're being a cunt. She's Australian. So she spelled it with an A. Ryan, you're being a cunt. Stop being a cunt. Everyone in here, everyone around is thinking you're a fucking cunt, mate. So yeah, that sort of simmered me down. Sometimes the truth is a good thing, and sometimes it's good to just make people feel good about themselves. So I think it's just navigating your way through life. Trying to do the best you can, but that's not to say that you should ever lie about something that people saw you do. Okay? Because that's gaslighting. That is pure gaslighting. Because what you're doing there is you are calling somebody else a liar for what they saw. And let's not forget, your memory is not 100%. Your memory is not 100%. Nobody's is. And so you might remember exactly the same circumstances, the same scene, the same moment in your life. And someone else may remember it very, very differently. Because they don't see the justifications that you had in your head for the thing that you said or the thing that you did. Or, they didn't see that. They just saw the outside of it. Anyway, the upshot of which is, generally speaking, tell the truth. But, if it's going to hurt someone's feelings or whatever, just tell them what they want to hear. There's no harm. As long as it's not like gaslighting them, that's the big problem. Don't gaslight people. End of. Lordy Mandelson, says Paulie Donkey. Yes, Mandelson, what a creep. Do we just call him Andy the Nonce now, says Sid. Asks Sid. Yes, you're right. Sweaty Nonce. Corrects L. He is a sweaty nonce. Virginia's posthumous book is coming out on Tuesday. Maybe that's why. Yeah, there's already talk about this. And Virginia Giuffre, it's just such a sad fucking story. It really is. A woman who was abused as a child, and then she grew into an adult, and then she was abused, apparently, according to her, in her marriage, and then she couldn't see any other way out. And I just think it's absolutely heartbreaking. And it just goes to show she was paid £12 million by the Queen, but from our money. She was paid £12 million by the British taxpayer for the fact that Prince Andrew is a sweaty nonce. Can you get that through your head? Can you get that? Sorry, that's really passionate to say through your head. Can you just envision that for a moment? 12 million. Imagine we spent £12 million on an asylum seeker who was a nonce. And it cost 12, whatever it was that happened, it ended up costing £12 million to the taxpayer. So let's say there's a sweaty nonce who came over in a small boat and they abused the child. And so what we did was we got the taxpayer to pay the kid, now that the kid's grown up, £12 million of our money. And the asylum seeker was told that couldn't call himself Barry anymore. Couldn't call himself Barry. Had to change his name. That was it. That was his punishment. I mean, could you imagine the reaction of the Gam-Gams to that? Could you imagine the front page news? £12 million, But one of the more heartbreaking things about this, and as someone, who's lost people in similar circumstances in the past, it just goes to show that money doesn't always help. Like, the damage done to people by monsters like Prince Andrew, the money doesn't help. The money doesn't take away the nightmares. The money doesn't take away the feelings of just horror of what's been done to you. The mental scars that just won't fucking heal. And of course, yeah, if you've got some money, you can afford better counselling, I guess. But if the people around you are toxic, if your wife, your husband, your partner is not giving you the support that you need, and maybe they can't. I mean, I'm not saying that every bloke is a gobshite. Hashtag not all men. But even if they are a decent person, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the professional credentials to be and say the things that need to be said to help people get through this kind of mental cul-de-sac that obviously Virginia Giuffre found herself in. It's just such an awful, awful story. And this disgusting, greasy spider of a man, this Andrew sitting in the middle of his fucking web of, posh, elite, Nancy boys all, wanking into a fucking hat in school together. This is where they're taught to be fucking wrong'uns. They're taught that they're so much better than everyone else and they're superior and they deserve things. And the stories that have come out about Prince Andrew, not just about the fact that he's a fucking nonce, but also like just treating servants. Imagine having servants and then imagine treating them like shit. Imagine treating another human like they were just fucking, garbage people. And talking to them like just in that way. Who work for you, you know what I mean? This isn't some dickhead hawking fucking reform merch in the street and in a market store in town. This is someone who works for you, some kid who's just trying to do the best, and you're screaming and shouting at them because the curtains aren't fucking right. Do you know what I mean? Or these fucking egg is too runny. This is the kind of King Joffrey motherfucker that this Prince Andrew is. He's a fucking monster. He's an absolute monster. You add him to the list of people who, when they're no longer with us, we'll have a fucking party. He's done nothing good in his life. He's done nothing fucking good. What was he at the Battle of Goose Green? Or but fucking, well done, dickhead. Yeah, I just think it's really grim. Jane says, morning all. I can't stand the fact he said I put my duty first as always. He's always been a prick. What a prat. Yeah, he always has been. I'm just doing heavy duty washing on my bedding. Yes, it is a Saturday. And Jimmy says, morning, struggling today. Hope you're okay. I'm sorry you're struggling, Jimmy Anderson. Listen, if you want to head over to the Discord server after this, I'm sure some of the people watching will be going over there afterwards. If you like, I'll give you a link to the Discord server. I'll just put it in the chat. Because, it's always nice to have other people to chat to. And I don't know, I find it a bit easier to open up about things when I'm sort of online and just talking and text. I've got my WhatsApp groups where I just talk bollocks most of the time. But if I'm not having a great time, I can talk to someone about it without that kind of, I don't know, judgment. But yeah, I'll just put this into the chat. It's only going to work for half an hour, so if you want to use it, I'll make it a bit longer than half an hour. If you want to use it, you can. Okay, it's going to expire after 1 hour. So here's the link. I'm going to put it into the chat now. If you want to join the Politics Social Discord server, you should be able to get that invite there. But please obey the rules, which are basically the same as being in the chat here. Just don't be a dick. Prince Nonce, yes, indeed, says Harushi. Haru Hi. 12 million pounds to Boris Johnson. Yeah, does this mean one of Harry's kids becomes the Duchess of York? That would be cool. Keeping all the victims, stroke survivors in my thoughts of these disgusting men, all because they were poor and came from broken families, and were seen as easy. Yeah, easy target. You're right, Jimmy. Like, you're absolutely right. Just the predatory rich men, predatory rich gobshites like Epstein and Andrew, all of whom came from money, all of whom were told all their life that they were special and above everyone else, and they had a right to treat other people like garbage. They had a right not to be respectful of just any other human, just not to terrible things to them because, you wouldn't like terrible things to happen to you, would you? Would you? And Jimmy says, don't forget, the age of consent is different in the US. Would you also like a Dom fawning over your daughter, a DOM Dom? No, not particularly, Jimmy. As reminded by Phil, to quote Terry Pratchett, evil begins when you treat people like things. Yeah, God. That's from Nunez. Yeah. Evil begins when you treat people like things. That is a fucking great quote by Terry Pratchett. Yeah. And he did. He treated people like things. There's that famous quote, isn't it? The careless people quote from about Tom and Daisy from the Great Gatsby. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess that they had made. Trump, Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage describes them all to a T. Fucking Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew wasn't 12 million of his fucking money that was paid out. It was 12 million of our money. Our money that could have been spent on cancer patients, could have been spent on kids with leukemia, could have been spent on fixing the potholes in the road, could have been spent on fixing schools, 12 different schools with the fucking rack. Yeah, million pound each, 12 schools. Don't have to worry about fucking the roof falling in on little kids and crushing them to death. But no, we had to spend £12 million of taxpayers' money, because this guy's a fucking sweaty nonce. And how anyone can defend him at this point is it's just mind blowing. I mean, the same email that proved that he continued his friendship with Epstein after he said that he ended it. It quietly surfaced in January this year. But I think with the US investigations heating up, because obviously the Democrats are all over this because they want to keep making the link between Nancy Trump, the rapist, and his Bezzy mate Epstein, who he may have had murdered in jail. Don't forget who was president when Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Donald Trump. Funny how the camera turned off for a few minutes, eh? And then you've got the pattern of lies and scandals, the timeline of the Andrew Epstein scandal from 1999 to 2010 that we know of. Epstein friendship, parties, flights. Photos emerged back in 2011. And Giuffre, the lawsuit started from Virginia Giuffre in 2015. 2019 was the catastrophic BBC Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis. He said I don't sweat and talked about going to the Pizza Express in fucking Woking. The civil settlement with Virginia Giuffre was given in 2022, reportedly 12 million, as I've mentioned. And then there's another facet to this, which isn't to do with his nonsense. This is to do with his poor judgment all around, because this man is a dickhead. If he had been born in a tower block in North Liverpool, he would be dead or in jail right now because of the drugs. This guy is thick as pig shit. He can't make anything. He can't do anything. He can't achieve anything. He's just the only reason why we've heard of his name is just because of an accident at birth. Because he is fundamentally useless and fucking evil. Now, if he was born the same as the rest of us, then he might not have been able to act on that evil. He might have, he may become a school teacher or whatever, but, that allowed him access to young women. But all things being equal, he wouldn't be on a fucking private island with Jeffrey fucking Epstein, the most notorious paedophile in the world, would he? If he wasn't rich himself. But here's the thing: from 2013 2023 to 2024, Chinese businessman linked to Andrew was arrested as a suspected spy. And then obviously we've got the email leak this year. We've got the memoir of Virginia Giuffre's memoir coming up, and then we've got this US inquiry. I think there's just too many snowflakes. It leads to avalanche. But the palace has been lying about him for years, calling him a non-working royal, still wasting taxpayers' money in his existence. Get a fucking job. Get a job in Pizza Express in fucking Woking, you twat. Do a fucking day's work. Just go on, do a fucking day's work, you twat. I hate it when people talk about how hard the royals work. They turn up to stuff and they meet people. I could do that. Get a job. Go on. I could do that. I could totally do that. What? You mean I have to turn up at a place and I have to talk to people? That's literally what I fucking did every day for 4 years, visiting every fucking country in the world. And they didn't necessarily speak English. That's what I did. Not to make sure that, people got on with people and, we had a bit of camaraderie, we had a bit of bonhomie, so they didn't, hate me or send me the wrong direction or mug me or attack me, which nobody did. Either because humans are nicer than we give them credit for, or otherwise I'm just really fucking charming. I can do that. Get a job. I can go and open a fucking supermarket and make everyone feel £1 million and, shake their hands and smile at them and, tell them they're doing great and hope they have a nice day. I could do that. Get a job, you daft royal twats. Why are you giving it to these fucking gobshites? What are you paying him for? What are you paying Prince Andrew for? He shouldn't even be a prince anymore. Should be called Andrew the Nonce, working in fucking Pizza Express and not allowed to leave the kitchen because there might be kids in the fucking restaurant. And he has to wear a fucking tag. He has to wear a fucking tattoo on his fucking head that says nonce. Noncy fucking gobshite. Non-working royal, fucking laying around. Lounging around, watching fucking Homes Under the Hammer, getting paid for it by the fucking taxpayer. Not like a little amount like what you get on universal credit or carer's allowance now, or on your measly fucking state pension in this country. No. Fucking pensions, man. My generation, I regard myself as a millennial. My generation, we're fucked. We're so fucked when it comes to stuff like that. We're not getting a pension. Our state pension's not going to be enough to live on in 20 years' time, when I'm ready to retire. I'm going to be fuck all. Be 50 quid a week. When a fucking can of beans costs £75. And the savings, fucking, could you imagine having savings? Like, how do people do that? How do people have a bit of money squirreled away? Like, how? I don't understand. Like, can someone explain it to me? How you manage to have any fucking money left over at the end of the day? After you paid off your fucking credit card bills. So everything's so fucking expensive now because of fucking Brexit, because the rich motherfuckers gave us fucking Brexit. Took away our right to live and work and retire. Retire in Europe, in our own fucking continent. They took it away from us, not from themselves. Not from themselves. I fucking hate the rich. I fucking despise these motherfuckers. They're the fucking worst of us. And all these people are like, they go, but they worked hard. No, they didn't. They didn't work harder than you. They didn't work harder than me. They didn't work harder than a fucking Durham coal miner, fucking working down the fucking mines every day till they died at the age of 41 of black lung. They didn't work harder than that. They didn't work harder than a shipbuilder welding fucking sheet metal together every fucking day. They didn't work harder than the fucking people working at sea, being fishermen, fisher folk, trawling in nets in all fucking weather, freezing cold in the morning, getting up at fucking 3 to go and catch some fucking fish, and all the danger that's out there on a ship. I mean, God, you think everything's trying to kill you in Australia? Get on a ship, mate. Get on a ship. Oh, so many things that want to kill you on a ship. Wow. And there's no escape. Jump overboard and, you'll stay alive for a few hours, I think, till the sharks get you. You always see that in movies, don't you? Where someone falls overboard off a ship and then they wake up the next morning on a fucking island. That never happens. Do you know how far the islands are from each other in fucking the Pacific? You'd have to float for about 6 months before you actually hit another island. And then it would only be if you're incredibly lucky. You fall overboard, they wake up on a beach somewhere. Just spit out some fucking water and a crab, and then they're like, oh, I'm all right now. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You're going to fucking die. You're going to drown unless the sharks get to you first. Anyway, so back onto royal nonsense. There's a state visit happening this week to meet the Pope. And then you've got the constant parade of headlines. Charles wants a clean monarchy image, which is hilarious considering this is the man who married his mistress. There's a quiet deal here that, he resigns without this sort of public stripping of his titles. And, he just says, I don't, don't sack me. I quit. You can't sack me. I quit. But the institution protects itself. It always does. This is what it will do to protect itself. This is the royal family that we have. And I think the damage that he has done. You see, here's the thing. There's a lot of damage that Charles did because of his treatment of Diana. There's a lot of damage that for the Gamony lot that Prince Harry did. They hate him. Even though he actually served for his country. He actually flew helicopters in Afghanistan. He put his life on the line, which is more than they can say for a lot of the children of MPs who go into these fucking wars. I don't think Ewan Blair ever went out to Iraq to, I don't know, pilot a fucking tank anywhere. But yeah, he did that, but then he fell in love with the wrong woman. And so they've lost a lot of the Gammon support because of that as an institution. And now, all this, I think they're losing both the Gammon support and the Liberal support. Like, people are just going, oh, fuck you. Fuck yous, man. Graham Yozza Hughes. Yeah, my Uncle Yoz. Bernard Hill. Oh, what a dude. L says, between Trump and Andrew and others, that place would have been like Jabba's palace, slimy slugs. Yes, Jabba's palace. Salacious Crub sitting there going, Andy never did much of that anyway, too busy partying. Yeah, we've paid for this guy to fucking party. Star says, the son of the Norwegian princess before she joined the RF is on trial for similar accusations. Can't understand why the same can't happen here. Yeah. And Bowles says, it goes beyond the Democrats in the US. We shouldn't miss the widespread distrust of federal institutions that existed before, but escalated by Waco. Yeah, that's a point. Charles married Camilla. That was brave. Yeah. And Sarah says, didn't work harder than my dad, who was a long-distance truck driver who only saw his family 2 days out of every 14 and slept in a small bunk at the back of a truck cab. Fuck the rich twat. Yeah, exactly. I just hate that idea that Elon Musk works harder than the rest of us. Elon Musk, who's off his tits on ketamine all the time. Like, can you afford to be off your tits on ketamine each day? I mean, maybe you're retired, but if you're working a full-time job and you're off your tits on ketamine, you're going to be sacked from that job very, very quickly because you're not supposed to be off your tits on ketamine when you're doing a fucking job. Are you? Like, come on. He works hard. He's worth $500 billion now. $500 billion that motherfucker's worth. Has he done $500 billion worth of work? Has he fuck? Came from apartheid South Africa with his apartheid fucking emerald mine that his dad owned. His dad is pedo dad. It's pedo dad who married. Not even married. I mean, he's not even married, I don't think. He just got her pregnant. He got Elon Musk's sister pregnant twice. So now Elon Musk has got, what would they be? Niece stroke sister. Niece sisters. Maybe son, brother nephews. Oh, here's your brother nephew. That sick little fuck. The dad of, well, Elon Musk is a sick little fuck, but Elon Musk's dad, Errol, I think his name is, right? He became the step dad to the daughter, the woman he married now, because she's grown up, right? When she was 3 years old. 3 years old. He would have bathed her when she was 3. That is so sick. That is so fucked up. And everyone goes, oh, no, it's all right. He's a rich person. He can do what he likes. Should be on fucking trial for that. You want to talk about groomers? That little fucking prick, that little fucking gobshite Elon Musk, the fucking Nazi. He wants to do his Hitler salute, and then he wants to say that, all these groomers are coming over from, and the government's doing nothing about it. Jess Phillips, you're doing nothing about the groomers. I'm like, your dad's a groomer, you sick fuck. Your fucking brother's your fucking nephew. Your fucking niece is your fucking sister, mate. That is so fucked up. Your sister is your stepmom. How the fuck does that work? Jesus Christ. I fucking hate the rich. Anyway, so, international fallouts from this. US Congressman Robert Garcia has been quoted as saying it's long overdue. The House Oversight Committee is digging further into the Epstein files. Epstein lists is still being trawled through. More bullshit may emerge, and something big on the horizon that they know is coming, and that's why they've done this now. Virginia Giuffre, her memoir arrives next week, I think on Tuesday, someone said. And there's the horrible thing that the British press sat on this Andrew story for fucking years, Same crucify, refugees. They stay timid on the royals, that and the newspapers like the Sun and the Mail and the Express and the Tory Graph that smeared Meghan to fucking exile, but shielded Andrew. Shielded fucking Andrew. Double standards, class, power, corruption, the patriarchy, you name it. Racism. But you got to ask, what does this mean for the monarchy? Does it raise constitutional questions? I think it does. Why does Parliament need to legislate to strip titles? That needs to change. Why aren't the royals accountable to law like the rest of us? It said in the Magna Carta 810 years ago. We said there's no one above the law. There is the dukes and the nobles, and then there's the king, and then there's the law. There's the law above the king, I thought. But there you go. The public trust is decreased, because of this, and the monarchy is clearly in damage control mode. But I can't get over the fact that I just think that this was a bit of a PR stunt. I saw the document that went out. It had strictly embargoed until 7 o'clock last night, written on it. So all these news, at 7 o'clock, the BBC could finally say breaking news. Prince Andrew, the sweaty nonce, is no longer to have his titles. Demanding that the press sit on it, and on the websites, and on the news, and on the LBC radio, and everything, and on the TV until 7 o'clock. That sounds like a PR exercise to me. When would be the best time to drop this? 7 o'clock on a Friday. When everyone's at the pub. I don't know. I just think it's really disgraceful. I think the whole thing's fucking disgraceful. Anyway, talking of disgraceful, here's the newspapers, quickly. And we've got Andrew I will no longer use the Duke of York title. That's from the Daily Express. And we've got the Eye Weekend here. Palace forces Andrew to give up his titles. Canaries without the crowds. You can go see the Canaries of the Canary Islands. And named after the dogs, by the way, not the birds. And then we will, women's health breakthrough will end years of pain for millions. Female scientists crack code on endometriosis. That's fucking amazing news. And it's also got Earth's Greatest Sport, which is apparently sumo here. Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. It's also got an interview with Stephen Mangan, who I quite like, although probably privately educated. Then we've got the Daily Star here. The banned old Duke of York. There you go. Good old Star there. You see what they've done? Because it was the grand old Duke of York. It was the grand old, but they've made it banned because he... Anyway, Nadine Dorries. Jesus Christ, here we go. I had breast implants. Well, you don't look like the type. But then bitterly regretted it. But when I had an op to remove them, the surgeon did something so shocking, I'm still traumatized. By Nadine Dorries. I'm sorry that something shit happened to her, even though I don't like her. I don't want horrible things to happen to her. But at the same time, she's a fucking idiot. She's a fucking idiot. She's a fucking moron. Do you remember that interview? Wasn't that Nadine Dorries, that interview where she had the empty bookshelf behind her in her attic, and there's no books on the bookshelf? That was just fucking embarrassing. Andrew falls on sword. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Under intense pressure from the king, he finally agrees to relinquish dukedom and membership of the Order of the Garter. Okay, whatever. And then we've got the same picture in the Telegraph and also in the Independent. Anthea Turner, women called me a home wrecker. Okay. Female Viagra on its way at last. Okay, and what they've done is they've put underwear. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, fuck me. They've put female underwear. They've put like sexy bra and knickers. Looks like a face, doesn't it? With sunglasses on, and there's the mouth, and there's a beard here. They've put it on a Viagra pill. They've put female underwear on a Viagra pill because making the usually blue Viagra pill, making it pink, wasn't clear enough. The Daily Telegraph, my friends, this paper still thinks it's a broadsheet. It still thinks it's a broadsheet. You know, that is so fucking depressing. It's a Sunset Boulevard of newspapers. You know, I'm still a huge star. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Yes, Daily Telegraph, that's right. You're still a broadsheet. You're still a sensible newspaper for sensible people. You're a fucking tabloid, mate. You're a slutty little tabloid. That's what you are. Fucking... Anyway, Andrew forced to give up world titles. Let's see what the stupid stories are at the bottom here. PM faces inquiry on China embassy deal. On the little stories. Celebrities make autism look desirable. What? Celebrities are glamorizing ADHD and autism. Come here. Come here. Daily Telegraph. Come here. Come here. Stop being a twat. Okay, just stop it. Just fucking stop being the world's biggest twat. Nobody wants to have fucking ADHD. It's not cool. It's not cool to not have an executive function in your life. It's not cool to be 46 years old and never had, like, I don't know, a proper job because you're driven by some unknown force to change history for the better, or worse in my case. I don't know why I've turned out the way I did, but I wouldn't wish it on someone who wasn't, you know, I just, why was, why? That's what all the cool kids are doing. All the cool kids are having executive dysfunction, so why would I have executive dysfunction? What world do these knobheads fucking live in? What fucking world? Fucking Daily Telegraph. I just want to put up the Independent here. There's an interview with Louis Tomlinson. Liam Payne's death hit me like a ton of bricks. It's been a year now since Liam Payne sadly passed away. Andrew gives up titles. It's the cover of the Times here on Saturday. We can't leave welfare untouched. So this is worth jumping into. Virginia Giuffre there in her own words. This is from her diary. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. We can't leave welfare untouched, says Reeves. Treasury considers end to tax breaks on cars for disabled people. What the fuck? What the genuine, absolute fuck? Treasury considers end of tax breaks on cars for disabled people. Right. We're not talking here about the government buying cars for disabled people. That hardly ever happens. We're talking about the government which gives tax breaks, gives tax grapes to make fucking wine. It's wine that whines at you. This is the government that gives tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires. Up the kazoo. This is the government that gives tax breaks to private schools, to the Tufton Street think tanks that claim to be charities. It gives tax breaks to oil companies, to tobacco barons, to arms manufacturers, to the merchants of literal death. Tax breaks. And now they're considering taking away tax breaks for disabled people's cars. There really is no defending that. Probably save about £2.50. Well done, dickheads. Moving on. Tackle online fake news or risk riots, MPs warn. Yes. MPs, why are they telling me? Tackle online fake news or risk riots, MPs warn. Why are MPs who are in power, who have got the power to sit on select committees, even if they're in opposition, who've got the power to put pressure on the government because they're part of the same party, why are MPs telling me to tackle online fake news? And there's a book been written by Reese Witherspoon, which is hilarious because it wasn't written by her. It's co-written. It's co-written with another author. Is it Clive Cussler or someone? No, Coburn. Thingy Coburn. Hang on. Let's Reese Witherspoon. Gone before Harlan Coburn. That's him. Not Ben. Coburn. Ben. Ben. So it's Reese Witherspoon teamed up with best-selling author Harlan Coburn to write thriller Gone Before Goodbye. I mean, I quite like Reese Witherspoon. I don't think she's a massive turf from little I know of her. I liked her in movies. I thought she was great in Legally Blonde. Great film. But here's the thing, right? Wouldn't it be nice to live together? Wouldn't it be nice if, for once, a rich person, say a rich author, teamed up with someone who wasn't also rich to write a book? Maybe give someone who's just starting out, maybe from the wrong side of the tracks. Maybe give them a chance. Or give them a chance, Maybe you could do that. No? Just got to help out the rich people who are already rich. Get more rich. Oh, you're having trouble writing your book? Okay, well, I'll write it for you. I'm just a very famous author with a book deal. Hard to get a book deal unless you're already rich. Let me tell you, you could have a really cool story. Like you're visiting every country in the world and ending up in jail twice in Africa, overcoming a journey of 650 kilometers over open ocean in a canoe. Yeah. With no safety precautions, no sat phone, no radio, nothing. 650 kilometers over open ocean in the Atlantic. Yeah. You could have a story about that. Have a story, but, didn't go to the right fucking school. I've got to get a book deal in this country, mate. Oh, what's this? What's this chip doing on my shoulder? Get the fuck off my shoulder, chip. There's one on this one as well. Ah! Keeps on reappearing, that chip. It's all right, I'm not bitter. Anyway, moving on. Good luck to it. Really sad story here in the Mirror. Gaza, I just can't give up boozing. I find that's really sad. He's obviously got a problem. Alcoholism is a terrible, terrible disease. It's a disease of the mind. And he's I just hope he can get the help that he needs. And then we've got the FT Weekend. This is the US edition for some reason. We've got the Jeffries defrauded by First Banks. That's I don't know who Jeffries is, but apparently they're a thing. They've been defrauded by First Brands. Bank chief lashes out. Auto Group's failure reverberates. Credit fears hurt regional leaders. I suppose if you read the Financial Times every day, you might be able to. Someone's crashing around in the kitchen there. Stop breaking stuff. Italy aims to sour rich expats Dolce Vita by lifting flat tax on foreign income 50%. Take that, expat. That's what you get for calling yourselves expats when you're really immigrants. No, I'm not an expat. I'm an immigrant, says people who don't want to have to pay an extra bit of tax. Missile moves. Zelensky in plea to Trump. So this is about the Tomahawk missiles, which So else he's asking for, but doesn't look like he's going to get, because Trump's like, oh, well, you might use it to shoot at my mate, fucking Vladimir Putin, and I love him. Anyway, right, so, yes. Yay, tax grapes. Tax them. Tax those motherfuckers. I would like a tax-free grape, says MH Kerber. Oh. Blue Labour proving that who needs Farage. Honestly, if they do that, imagine just being around the table. Imagine being at that situation. You're sitting around the table and you're like, shit, we've got to make some cuts. Oh, should we tax the rich more? Should we stop the subsidies to these massive fucking oil companies that are incredibly rich and don't need subsidies? Maybe we should tax Google? Hey, why don't we tax Google properly in this country? Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll say, look, you operate in this country, so you should pay. Why don't we get Starbucks to pay the right amount of tax? Hey, they can't just say, oh, well, it costs us exactly what we make each year to license the logo that we license to ourselves from a shell company. You can't get away with that. You just got to pay your fucking tax like any other fucking coffee shop. Why does the greasy spoon round the corner from you have to pay normal business rates? But, fucking Starbucks get away with it. They're creating employment. I hate that expression. They're creating. They always use this as an excuse for billionaires and gobshites, don't they? They go, oh, they're creating employment. They're creating fucking slave jobs for people that they treat like shit. If it wasn't them, someone else would create a fucking job, because there'll always be a niche in the market. They're filling up all the niches with low quality jobs where they basically treat the staff like shit. And then you go, oh, but they'll leave the country. Okay, fine. And we have a new rule. If you are rich and you leave the country, you have to give up your British passport. There you go. Happy days. Go get a passport for fucking the Emirates, mate. Go on. Good luck with that. Good luck getting a passport for the Emirates. But, no recourse to the British Embassy. You can't run there when your company just goes bankrupt because you've embezzled too much fucking money at your company, bet it all on a horse that fucking had 3 legs, good old sad Ken. You lost it all. You lost all that money from your company, and you can't declare yourself bankrupt in Dubai because they don't allow you to do that. So run away to the embassy, quick, run to the British Embassy, quick, they're coming to get me, they're coming to put me in jail. And the British Embassy can go, are you a British citizen? Oh, no, I had to give that up because I thought that, I didn't want to live in the country anymore because of all the immigrants. So I thought I'd become an immigrant in someone else's country. Tax those motherfuckers. Tax them till the pips squeak. Who needs more than £1 million a year? Like, what the fuck do they spend the money on? Do they buy a new TV every day? Do they buy a new car? Like, surely you have a car and it works for a year. The most expensive car in the world is what, $500,000, I think. You don't even need that. Get a really nice, comfortable production model car. Spend $100,000 on it. You can have a new one every year. You still have $900,000 left over. Why does anyone need more than $1 million a year? What the fuck do they spend it on? Like, what do they do? I went to every country in the world. Every fucking country in the world without flying. And it cost £28,000 over 4 years. £28,000. Cost about £7,500 a year. That was it. What do they spend the money on? Why do they need that much money coming in? Anything over $1 million, 100% tax. There you go. Oh, but then people won't invest. No, I'm not talking about companies, dickhead. I'm talking about individuals. All right? The money they make, whether they make it from a salary or they make it from bonuses or they make it from capital gains, doesn't matter. Anything over $1 million, 100% tax a year. You get 100%. You get $1 million taxed normally, but then after $1 million, fuck off. Rich buy Maltese or Cypriot EU passports. Yes, they do. Unfortunately, they do. Anyway, I just want to say, sad Ken, they've shot the horse and the jockey. Thank you to the freckled puny there for getting the bottom reference. Ireland hopefully has better publishing companies. Yes. Gaza is a tragic figure. He's lived a long time as a codependent addict with his friend Jimmy. Yeah, it is really sad. No mention of carbon tax for shipping. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Gotta go and pick up Kat. So, my friends, lords, ladies, gentlemen, members of the jury, thank you for joining us on this very special edition of Morning Brew. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the super chats. We got some super chats in this morning. Made it all worth it. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock for Morning Brew. I should call it something else because it's at a different time, but it'll be going out after the Sunday roast. So look out for that tomorrow between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, probably. I'll put the thing up at 8 so you know what time we're going to go out. But other than that, definitely Monday morning, 9 o'clock, Morning Brew. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Saturday night. Hope you have a bit of fun, whatever you decide to do, whether you decide to go out or stay in and watch the TV or the Traitors or whatever you're doing right now. I hope you have a good time. Hope you have some nice food to eat and a nice hot cup of tea or coffee or cocoa or whatever is your poison. But the main thing is take care of yourselves and each other. Give us a like on the way out if you liked me doing this, and I might do some more on Saturdays. Otherwise, until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.